So today, back at the allotment, it's Friday the 16th of April, and I am having a go at planting and sowing onions. So one thing I'm having a go at doing a bit differently this time is instead of preparing the biodynamic preparation just here, which is the barrel preparation, which is going to be stirred and dynamised in warm rainwater and then tipped into this tray to give the onions and shallots a nice drink before planting. I've been doing that at home, but this time I've actually got my act together and I brought all the kit here, and I'm going to just sit and enjoy the allotment for 20 minutes while I prepare that solution. So I'm almost done dynamising the barrel preparation. Just the last stir, and once that has settled, it'll just be a case of giving the onions and shallots a good drink. So I'm going to pour all of this in here. It's more than's needed ultimately, but I'm also going to save the water or the solution to spray on the ground. So I will tip it out. It's going to leak through the hole, so I want to give them a really good drink. So there we go, that's okay there. And I'm going to give them a good drink for about an hour while I do a few other jobs on the allotment to prepare for planting them. My first job while I'm waiting for the onions and shallots to have a good soak in the barrel preparation is to mark out my rows. Now you can see I've got a nice fine tilth, so the top of the soil is nice and fine here versus it's a bit rough and bumpy over here. So I'm going to prepare 4 of the rows because we've got onions going here, we've got spring onions going here, got shallots going here, and then way over there got some more onions as well because they're a good companion for the other vegetables that I'm going to grow. So that's my next job. There we go, that's the first row of onions, the holes put in the ground at 10cm intervals, ready for the plants to go in. And then just over here I've got my drill ready to sow the spring onion seeds, which is it's about 4 meters, and it sort of doesn't really matter how precise you want to be. I like to be as precise as possible, but you're always going to get the soils going up or down, or the stones in the way, so you can't be too precious about it, but I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good for a learner. Okay, so this is the row for the shallots. So I've raked it to a fine tilth, but now, so I knew that the plants had to be planted 15 centimeters apart, and I'd even calculated that it needs to be 12 meters in length. I just hadn't bothered to read my own planning, so I'm going to improvise. I'm going to do 2 rows, so that gives me, so it's going to be a 4-meter row, but with 2 rows spaced 30 centimeters apart. The rows will be 30 centimeters apart, so that'll give me 8 meters in total. And now I just need to calculate so 8, and there we go, we've got 2, it's a double row of holes going all the way up 4-meter length, 10 centimeters apart. That's what I needed to do to get all of them within the 4 meters. And the last row now is another row over in the other corner of the red spark onions. Okay, now the last row I'm going to work on this is basically what I've been doing each time, using the builder's line to mark out a straight line, and then just going each side so that there's a fine tilth, moving away the stones and any large pieces of soil. Because there is a bit of a problem with the stones, which I wish I hadn't turned the soil over or ploughed, but there you go, it's a learning curve. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. Okay, so I think that's looking okay. Nice fine tilth all the way up. Next job is to mark out the actual holes. You can see I've got a tape measure on the ground. I like to do things properly. Now I know based on my garden plan that I want my row of onions here to start where the row of carrots finishes up there. So I'm going to mark the start of the row with this tag. And then I know that I need 10 centimetres of spacing. So I'm going to go with my dibber and mark, just put some holes in. It just gives me a bit of a guide before I bring in the actual plants to plant them in the ground, and then I'll just be sort of adjusting the holes really, just with my hands, based on what the actual transplants are like as I bring them over. So I'm going to mark 20 holes just here, so that's going to take me up to 2 meters, and then I've left enough space for the other seeds that I'm going to sow that will carry on up here. So it'll be mulch 2 between here and the potatoes I'm going to sow in a couple of days' time up there, and that's me ready to go. So now what to do need to do is just wait for the seedlings to have a nice soak in the barrel preparation, and then I'm good to come and plant. Okay, so I've got my last few seedlings to sow. These are the onions, I think, because they all look very similar, and I got a bit eager when I was opening the packets, so obviously note to self next time. So what I've been doing is I obviously used my dibber to make the holes, and then I've just been going around getting each seedling and then just opening up the holes so I'm not crushing the roots, and then just pushing the soil gently back around, because I'm not going to push it down. What I want to do is water in the plants, so the water will naturally compress the soil, and it's a nice gentle way to put them in. Now the thing I'm not sure about is these plants came in modules, so there's 4 plants in one module. There's no details about planting the whole module as a set, so to speak, or dividing them up. So I've gone with dividing them up. I may or may not be right, but this is the journey that I'm on. So that's what I've done. Over at the other side of the plot, I've already done the other row of onions. I've done the double row of shallots. The next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to water in these onions. So if I just go and grab my watering can, I can water these in. I'm going to do it nice and gently. I'm going to start over here. Give them a good soaking, because the ground's pretty dry at the moment. That should be okay. And then that will help to settle the soil nicely, but not too much water. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and water in all the others that I've planted. I'm then going to sow the spring onion seeds, the spring onion seeds, and then I'm going to use some strolch, which is some special organic straw, just to put some protection around, which I will show you that next. So I'm into the home straight now, and the last thing I'm trying is this product here called strolch, which is a mineralized straw. They're completely organic, so it works for the biodynamic and organic way of growing things. And the reason I'm trying this is a few different reasons. One is I'm a bit worried that these are really quite delicate vegetables, and there are dogs around here, and this may not stop them running onto my plot or across it, but it just makes it a bit more obvious, and I'm hoping it'll give a bit of protection. The other one is that it is a mulch, so it should help to reduce weeds which are around the vegetables, and again they're very, very tender and quite easy to get pulled out of the ground. So that's one reason, and the other one is the soil's pretty dry on top at the moment, and it's something that I can see in all of the plots. So by putting on this mulch, I'm going to be able to retain more moisture in the ground. So hopefully it's going to keep the vegetables watered a bit better. So that's it now. We've got this row of onions, which is in the bed with the carrots, which you can't see anything at the moment. There's carrots and spring onions, and also some other companion plants, which is cornflower and radishes. And then over the other side of the plot, I've also got another row of onions. I've got the spring onions that I've sown in the middle, and then I've got the row of shallots, or the double row of shallots on the other side. So the last job I'm going to do is I'm going to water in the strolch. That's going to help add in some moisture, but it's also going to stop it from blowing away, and that should be it. So yeah, good day at the allotment. Fingers crossed everything grows, because that's the tricky bit.